I hope you're ready to join me on a cozy evening writing session. My name is Josie, and my plan for this evening is to keep drafting book one of my epic fantasy series. And we are, I think, about halfway through this book at this point, maybe even more than halfway, because I finished not only the initial prologue setup, but then I have three point of view characters that all go in different directions, and I've just reached the midpoint for the second character because I'm writing each of the characters one at a time. So I think it's safe to say that I'm over halfway and I'm so excited. Honestly, I've been thinking about this story for so long, and so to see it actually piece by piece come together, actually exceeding my expectations of all the fun and excitement and revelry that I'm getting to put into this draft. And I'm not saying that the writing is there yet. I'm definitely a messy first draft writer, but the bones are there, and I am so excited to keep going. For the next couple of scenes, my character is stuck with another character that doesn't like them, and they have to go into this very dangerous environment and try and survive and achieve their mutual goal together. And I don't have a lot planned. I vaguely know a plot point or two that I need to hit. But other than that, we're kind of going in blind. And for this, I'm actually really excited. So I've been going back and forth over the years in plotting first or pantsing first. Do I need an outline or should I just go for it? Because I find merits in both things. I love the sparks of creativity that come from just sitting down and just going for it and seeing where the story takes you. But I also like the structure and the pacing, you know, accountability that you get when you're outlining. So that's why I do a bit of a mix of both with some strong overarching outlining. But there's times like these where I just get to have fun with it and see what happens. I figure tonight will be a lot of slow drafting as I try and figure out what my characters are up to, exactly what their dynamic is going to be. But, I have plenty of time. I have a cup of tea. I'm going to light a candle. I'm going to find some ambiance music to play from YouTube. It's going to be a good time. But I'm not actually going to be starting by writing. I've seen some other people mention that before they start a writing session, they actually do a little bit of a reading. So that is my plan. So we'll see if I can keep myself to 10 or 15 minutes. But I'm currently rereading Lord of the Rings. I'm still on the Fellowship of the Ring, but I'm getting close to the end and things are spicing up because we've just entered Moria. So if you know anything about Lord of the Rings, things are about to get extremely dangerous. And I feel like there's no book that will better put me in the headspace of dangerous quest travel than Lord of the Rings. So the drafting is feeling good, but I feel like before I go any further, I really need to nail down some character names. Other than the main character in this point of view and a couple of the people we meet at the very beginning of her journey, we have no names for anyone else. They're all named after their role, kind of in the story. So that needs to change. And one of the reasons I've been delaying it is because, in a fantasy book like this, I'm really trying to make things feel cohesive, realistic. So there's different characters from different areas. So I want their names to feel similar. So you get that they're from a similar culture kind of a thing. And I'm already just bad at names in general, but it's just getting ridiculous. I feel like I have a hard time really fully forming the character without having that name in place. So right now I'm actually just looking up baby names for different areas, different countries, and just trying to come up with groups of names for the different characters. So that shouldn't take too long, and then we can get back into writing. I've been writing for about an hour now, and I've really been enjoying getting into the flow of the story. I ended up not really drafting anything new. So, because I'd figured out what the name for this other secondary character that she's going to be spending a lot of time with, I decided to go back and start putting in his name. So, actually, the last chapter I wrote, I did do quite a bit of underwriting, but since putting in his name, I've actually gone through and really fleshed out the scenes, and they're feeling really good. I feel like this is going to offer me a lot more of like a stronger foundation for when they are truly going off by themselves into the danger. So I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to get to that tonight, but I'm not going to worry about it if I don't. I just want to keep plodding along and having a good time, because this is like the kind of evening I love, when I can just like get into the flow of things. The words are just coming to me. I'm not having to like draw them out or pull them out. But to try and keep like some momentum going, because I can tell I'm starting to fade a little bit. My plan is to read a little bit more of The Lord of the Rings, because it was really hard to stop myself after only 15 minutes. So I want to reward myself for really focusing in and doing this writing session, because honestly, I was almost like debating if I wanted to write tonight, and it's almost like going to the gym, where like the hardest part is like deciding to actually do it. Once you're in it, it like feels so good and you can't imagine why you're even hesitating. So my plan is to use 15-minute increments of reading to motivate myself to do more writing. And then once I get into the writing, it just carries me away. We've reached the line. If I can write anything near this iconic in my books, I'm gonna be the happiest girl in the world. I definitely wrote for a lot longer than I expected. Instead of 15 minutes, we read for closer to 40 minutes, but totally worth it. That scene was awesome and so inspiring to read. But I have now changed into my PJs because I've decided to get a little bit like cozier and write in bed. But who knows, this might actually make me more tired and not last as long. But we're just going with the vibes today. I have no expectations to reach a certain word count, to write a certain amount of time. I'm just trying to spend as much time as I can in the story, enjoying what I'm writing. One of the things I was worried about when I started this fantasy book, because before this, all the stories I've written have been like sub 100K words at the end, and like 100,000 words is like 400 pages, I think. So, all pretty like shorter novels. But when I decided to write this epic fantasy book, I knew it was going to be long, because we're doing 3 point of view characters, and each of those point of view characters have their own arc, have their own journey. I anticipated the final word count for this to be like 170, 180,000 words. And I was really nervous about not only writing this book, but trying to commit to writing a series, is just the burnout and like not wanting to continue at a certain point, getting bored, wanting to write something else. And it's still early days. I haven't done any revision, but so far I'm actually surprised by how much I'm still like fully enjoying the story, like committed to just going for it, doing my best. Like it doesn't feel like work yet. And I think part of that is having 3 points of view. Like it's not just one character on their 170, 180,000 word journey. So being able to like block it out like that probably has made it a lot easier. But I'll be sure to check back in and let you know how I feel about the length of this book when it actually comes time to do revisions. That was the midpoint chapter that I was working on. And I feel like I really did strengthen it. I made my characters' motivations a lot clearer. It definitely feels like more of a turning point, an inflection point, a decision being made. Like it's very clear, almost like with the inciting incident of like these things have happened. The main character has a decision to make. Obviously, one is more in line with wants and desires, whether or not it's good enough. It's good for the main character to make that choice, but they make it, and then now we're pushing on into the next chapter. And because I was able to add a lot more depth to that chapter, it ended up getting a lot longer. So I feel good about ending it a little bit sooner than where I had it before. And then it is almost like a little bit of a better cliffhanger going into the next chapter. So I'm feeling really good about it. I am getting a little tired. It is almost 10:30 p.m. So I think that's my second and last writing session for this evening, though I'm probably going to read a little bit more Lord of the Rings before going to sleep because it's a good time. But this fantasy book is also exciting. It's just more brain power to actually write than it is to read something. I'm excited for what comes next. There will be a lot of that like pantsing, slow drafting still to come. And so I get to enjoy doing that tomorrow or the next day. I don't know how much writing I'm going to get to tomorrow. But in any case, thank you for watching the video. I appreciate the company, the support I'm sure you were giving me through the screen as I was doing my writing tonight, and I will see you in the next video.